violence is when you have an institution that allows inadequate staffing, and at the same time, when you have inadequate staffing, then the nurses themselves become angered, and once they become angered, they mistreat other nurses, sometimes targeting, they could be called racism, because the white nurses will go against the black nurses, and as a result of the manager mistreating the black nurses.
Wow.
But in our department, I must say that some of the white nurses, after the black nurses complained about that manager, came forward and they too started complaining.
Okay.
But it was only after the black nurses had complained about racism and discrimination by that manager. Is that right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I may be able to do the same job as a white nurse or more, but she's getting paid more than me.
A step needed of planning of the Southern Workers Assembly need to be held within the context of an expression of the broader social movements, so that we understand that organizing the South, you understand, has a connection to these other movements, and that these other movements must have a connection, you know, to organizing labor and workers in the South.
But bring it to capital, you know, to the banks, to the chambers of commerce, to have those in 7 or 8 states, lifting up the Southern Workers program and defending the ILA contract, you know, on King Day. That's something to think about.
International Vice President of the Insurance Association, and historically, he has become, I think this is right, the first African-American chair of a state Fed, a state FLCIO, South Carolina and back. So I can tell you, if it's up to the Raleigh brothers, South Carolina will never be the same again.
You know, we need a general strike. We definitely need a general strike. And you know, because we know that's the right response, because dock workers buy ships. Pretty much if you have on anything right now that wasn't made in America, it came in by ship. And we consummated the deal whereby the entire ILA is now affiliated with the IDC, just like the ILWU on the West Coast. The only group that can contain that kind of aggression is those of us who are in transportation, who's controlling the goods. Then we should be at the center of the labor movement. The power, which control.
Right.
So we ought to be there, that when they're threatening those of you in the interior, we ought to be flexing on the dock. And if you see that kind of attack coming our way, then you're supposed to encamp around us. Hands off of those dock workers.
Right.
Hands off of the dock workers. And it is that kind of solidarity that can lead to a general strike.
That's right.
And that's what's going to have to happen.
The main thing that I know that in my shop is trying to educate our workers about human rights, that, you know, we should be concerned about workers in other countries and how we have to unite with them, just the way that capitalists have united globally.
That's right.
We have to do the same thing as workers, and that's one thing that labor has not done.
That's right.
And especially with UPS, because UPS is definitely a global player. And, you know, and also ensuring solidarity. You know, I agree with Brother Kenneth here when he said we need to have a global strike. I mean, you know, if the IL shut down and the trucking need to shut down, you know, we could stop this country.
And I wanted to give some props to the Occupy movement. And I think before you strike, props to the Occupy movement, because they really, you know, people say they fly by night, but let me tell you, they changed the conversation dramatically. And then, but we got to follow it. We got to press and make things happen. And, you know, we kind of sit back and we say, well, no, we did something, and the president got in. This is just an opportune time for us to work.
Historically, black people have been brought in as strike breakers. Harry Bridges, one of the founders of our union, and other leftists, Marxists, and other radicals, understanding this contradiction, appealed to the black community for the purpose of supporting the strike. And in exchange for that support, becoming members of the union. They could not have won the strike without the black community. And one of the lessons learned is that the future of white workers and their destiny is inextricably linked to that of black workers.
We would seek to try and build community hearings to go deep into the community and to get people to come and talk about their stories of their family members being affected by the prison industrial complex, but also of the occupation that happens in the communities from the police and the effect that actually has on people.
Most times that I get up and speak before you, I always remind people of the catfish struggle and what we went through in the state of Mississippi. And I do this because we gotta always remember that the struggle happened then and it continues to happen today. And in the state of Mississippi, as you know, it's notorious for a racist atmosphere. It's notorious for stopping unions coming into that community and area so that workers can use this tool to try to make things better for them and for their families.
We all either have somebody related to somebody or know somebody who has been or is in some way ensnared with the criminal punishment system. So the first thing that we have to do is to begin to claim our internally missing people. You know how in other countries we talk about the disappeared? Well, we got 2.2 million disappeared in the United States. We need to acknowledge that disappearance, claim them, and begin to build a structure that not only prevents that number from increasing, but builds the bulwark for them to be able to come back home.
El trabajo de mi organización es trabajar por los derechos laborales de las mujeres que trabajan en el área del hogar, del cuidado de niños y el cuidado de ancianos.
So my organization works around workers' rights for women that work in child care and taking care of the elderly and in housekeeping, domestic work.
La experiencia es con el maltrato por nuestro estatus migratorio y por el abuso en el exceso de horas y no pago justo.
So in my experience is being maltreated based on our immigration status, also around the number of hours that we work, and also around low pay.
También vienen otras cosas, porque somos abusadas, no podemos comer lo que queremos, y algunas para mantener su trabajo son abusadas sexualmente.
And then there's other problems, like we're not allowed to eat what we want, and then other women, to be able to hold on to their job, are sexually abused.
The United States foreign policy is also part of the lynching culture of this country.
That's right.
So when we think about the war in Iraq, we don't think that was a war. We think that was a lynching. I was in the airport waiting for a friend of mine, and I was watching constantly CNN and repeating constantly the lynching that was organized, orchestrated, fabricated by United States and Europe against Gaddafi.
Hoy estamos haciendo un gran esfuerzo en la construcción del socialismo del siglo XXI. El socialismo del siglo XXI.
And right now, our effort and our focus is in the construction of a 21st century socialism.
Nosotros presentamos.
We all learn whatever is going on in Venezuela, and to learn about what's really happening in Venezuela, because we really think that the future, nearest future, the State Department is going to move in direction to Venezuela, and they are going to try to overthrow President Chavez as they tried in 2 years ago, 2002. And I think that it is very important for people in Venezuela and for people in South America and from the global South to be in connection and to try to help each other.
Hudson writes that the whites lived in mortal fear of black insurrections, and they were even more afraid that blacks and Indians would combine forces.
To update a sentence which I think remains still profound today, it comes from the Communist Manifesto that was written over 160 years ago, and I quote, "A specter is haunting capitalism. That specter is class struggle," end quote. And this is not merely rhetoric, sisters and brothers. This is based in reality. When you have hundreds of support actions for Walmart workers who are demanding unionization, when you have McDonald's and Taco Bell and Wendy workers walking off their jobs saying, quote, "We can't survive on $7.25 or $7.80. This is the dawn of a new day of fight back. That capitalism holds no future for us. And this is why youth are rebelling all over the world, from Spain to Greece to right here in the United States. We need to continue to unite and construct a powerful movement to bring all the struggles together like a mighty fist, to build people's power, as we've been talking about in this panel, with the goal to smash capitalism block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, city by city, state by state, and country by country. Because our struggle here is part of a much bigger global struggle against the 1%. And Workers' World Party is proud to stand in solidarity with all of you in the struggle to liberate all humanity from this inhumane and barbaric system. Workers' rights are human rights. Down with capitalism. Organize the South.
How do we stop it? Yes. You can't stop it with pretty words, I'm telling you. And you can't stop it by just writing legislation. I'm not saying these things cannot be done. But you have to understand the monster that you're dealing with. Yes. So they hunt all around the world to find people that they can exploit, take their resources, and kill them.
That's right. That's right.
And kill them. Let's not criticize this stuff. Genocide is real. Genocide has been real as long as there's been a class system in this world that says a handful of little people can control everybody else.
That's right.
And work them to death for their benefit and privilege.
Work. You squander wealth that's mine. Yeah. My light will shine so brightly it will blind you. There's something inside so strong, and I know that we can make it.
Special request to the
children. Doing us wrong, so wrong. Right. Thought that our pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're just not good enough, we know better.